This is educational. This is a review of a 20 Azure Vaults done by our friend, not James. So first of all, let's talk about the UI. I actually like the UI. I think things are looking clean, right? We have our weak aura package. The icons are a little bit weird looking. They're like skinny, but that's fine. I like the Omni CD. I like that there's not too many spells on it. I mean, it's definitely a little bit out of date. We're tracking Binding Shot, but that isn't a spell anymore. But for the most part, I like what we're seeing here. All right. This is going to be two parts, okay? Number one, this is going to be talking about our Resto Druid friend. Number two, this is talking about how to pull better in Azure Vaults. Because everyone's been coming in the chat saying, Growl, Azure Vault is impossible. It's completely impossible. The timer is too short. You cannot time it. And to that I say, you need to pull bigger. Stop being scared. Okay, let's see their first pull. So they pull, actually I really like this first pull. So they go the 3 lashers plus these 3 plus the bird. So right away, one thing we need to do is we need to stay in melee to get ready to roar if there's some cast going off. So one thing I like to do for this pull is I just put up a giga ramp. We lust, I just put up 1,000,000 rejuves. I put a big wild growth, F-flow, and then I just flourish it. Because number one, that'll do damage anyway from Nature's Vigil. And number two, you know some of these casts are gonna get off anyway. So here we go. We're blasting, we get our roar in, that's good. We're kind of stepping around a little bit too much though. Like for instance, in this pull, we shouldn't need to be healing our blood decay at all. We should mainly just be doing group healing here. Okay, we have a clear. We're not making any effort to clear. I don't know if I like that. We check the death log. All right, come on. Look, we're in a 20. We got to focus up, man. Don't check the death log in the middle of the pull. Don't check the death log in the middle of the pull. Come on now. Overall, I liked our play there though. We could have done more for damage. So here's all the things we can do for damage, right? Sunfire, we can spread Moonfire everywhere. We can also use a Shocking Disclosure potion, which it looks like we used maybe a little bit late, or maybe we did. No, we did use it. We did use Shocking Disclosure. Okay, so now this next pull is just going to be 3 lashers in a tree. Yeah, there's not much to say here. This is probably going to be boring. We're going to skip ahead of some boring pulls, but we kind of have to do this because nobody's going to have cooldowns here. So we kill these. The next pull is 4 lashers. Again, I like that we're staying close here. We're keeping our F-flow down. We're keeping our life bloom out. We are also always staying close so that we can use our roar. Our roar is very, very, very valuable. And we need to use our roar to help stop these pulls. So I like it. Very good. Okay, let's see what we do here. I think we run around. Okay, this is kind of like the new route that everybody's doing now. Nice. I like that we stay in stealth. We need to use Send Ward. Our Send Ward is sitting off cooldown a little bit too much. We're worrying a bit too much on the blood decay. Like, see, we just use regrowth on the blood decay. And that, okay, so we Send Ward eventually. I don't know what build we're playing, but we're pressing Wrath. We should be probably using Thrash. We didn't get to see the talents. Maybe we'll see the talents on the end, but... Okay, we did... Oh, no, wait, that was a Convoke. We should definitely be using Thrash, though, on like 4 or 5 targets. Thrash is uncapped, so as the targets go up, Thrash becomes one of our best AoE buttons. On 5 targets, it's not super important, but it's still pretty good. Okay, so now we're pulling this room. One thing I like to do is I like to roar the warrior as he's gathering up all this stuff to help him get all the trees, because this pull can be really annoying. Or not the warrior, sorry, the blood decay. Our shaman actually uses Wind Rush, which is kind of sweet. Not too much to say about this pull. This pull's pretty boring. We're doing a pretty good job keeping up our dots and stuff. Oh, why did we stop? What's going on here? Why did we not get that other tree? I don't know what's going on here. We definitely lost some time here by waiting on this other tree. He's a blood decay. He should never die to this stuff. Not our fault, obviously, but we stopped early and we didn't grab that last tree, and then now we're grabbing it at full HP. And now, see, look at how much time we're wasting having to single target this guy. Okay, so now we're fighting this boss. We should be DPSing. See, we're using a feather trinket. So, if I understand this right, we have we're playing no cat spells, because we have Star Surge, and we're never going into cat form at all, so we have no anything. We have no Thrash, we have no Rake or anything. Personally, I think that build's fine for this dungeon. The downside to running that build is you don't get any of the defensive bear stuff. So in a dungeon like Ruby Life Pools, where you take a ton of damage, I think you suffer running this build. But in Azure Vaults, I don't think you're in that big of a risk. Okay, let's take a look. I like the way he sequenced his spells here. So let's watch. He's DPSing. The explosive brand's coming out. He's a little late getting his hots up. So now he's hotting everybody up. Okay, so he only Nature's Vigil flourishes the wild growth. I think in hierarchies or like on Tyran right here, like you want to be hotting people up right here. Like on a 20 fortified, this isn't going to punish you that bad. But right here, what you want to be doing is putting rejuve on everybody and putting your life blooms up. And then now you can do this, right? Then you can wild growth and use your flourish. By the way, a nice move he does here, pro tip. We gotta throw this in there and just so everyone knows. So right here, notice he wild growths off of the boss. This is a situation where everybody's really spread out. Wild growth, actually, you can target enemies with it. And so it's gonna hit everybody around the boss in a circle. But if he would have targeted any individual person, it probably would have been outranged. So this is actually a really good use of wild growth the boss in this situation. So he flourishes here to make sure everybody's topped. Another really good thing that he does is he runs into the middle with all the ads. He runs into the middle to make sure that the tank can pick up all the ads. You do have to do a little bit of a dance here. One thing I would say is his team kind of panicked a little bit. He actually had flourish here and he had a lot of healing, but his team used rally, defensive, AG, everything. So his team used AMZ. His team blew a lot of stuff. Maybe it was just because of the trees. Was there trees still active? Oh, that's why. So there was trees still alive, I think, right? Yeah, okay, so there's 2 trees. That's why everybody did that. Okay, that's just fine then, just fine. Remember to bear form too. I don't remember if we bear formed, but bear forming here is really, really good. Okay, so now we're killing the boss. Now we're taking stock of what we have left. I see Trank, and I see that's it. Another question is, where is Adaptive Swarm? I do not see Adaptive Swarm on any of our abilities. I could maybe get behind. You need Adaptive Swarm. Does he have a weak aura for it? Am I missing it here? I don't see it. Wait, oh no, and we died. So let's, first of all, he has it. Okay, where is it? The glowing circle. Okay, well, hold on. Let's watch this moment first. Okay, so notice right here, he tranks, but now see how this is the opposite of him running towards the tank? Now he's pulling threat on everybody, and now see what happened? So here's two things that you can do here, right? So I agree with him that he needed to trank. So here's what I would do, okay? Instead of tranking right here, I would Swiftmend myself as I'm running towards the tank. Then I would wild growth, and then I would trank. Number 1, you're getting that wild growth off to give a mastery stack for the trank and to just do more healing. And then number 2, you're giving yourself something to press while you get to the boss. So right here, he catches himself where he doesn't really have that many hots out and he's just pressing trank. And now all the mobs are going to run to him and he's going to get threat. So now he has to cancel it and he has to run. He did use his wild growth, but he didn't Swiftmend Soul of the Forest it. And then here we make a mistake here too. I think we were panicking a little bit. So right away in this situation, we see there's a tree up and we're getting melee. So right here, we need to Iron Bark ourselves here. For sure in this moment, I'm Iron Barking myself here. I'm looking to Health Pod as well, probably too. I'm not sure if we can see it, but this is definitely a panic moment where we need to live. Like, see, right now see here, look at this. This is a perfect example of like just not having full clarity. Watch. So he's in trouble, and him and the hunter are in trouble, right? But the hunter has turtle. The hunter has turtle, and he has Iron Bark. So he wastes a global into the hunter, but the hunter's turtle anyway. The hunter is turtle and has exil, and we don't bark ourselves. And we don't use that heal on ourselves. So we could have easily avoided that death for sure. But, you know, panic happens. I've been guilty of it as well. And clearly we have a Giga Chad player. He's showing off all of his portals on the right side of his screen. There shouldn't be too much more going on here because we can just flourish again to get through that. Okay, so they better not fight these 2 elementals. So this is Azure Vault's mistake that I see very, very often. These two guys are a huge time loss. Oh, nice. The invis pot. Good, good. So ideally, you just want to sneak a rogue into your group, and you can shroud. But if you don't have that, you can invis pot on whoever can't invis. All right, this is another area that's pretty tough to pull. Let's see how they do. Ooh, the pre-F-low. I really like that pre-F-low. I don't do that enough. Chat, you should berate me to pre-F-low. Actually, normally I'm just being dragged along by my leash with Dorky. Okay. Where is... Do we have Sunfire? Okay. We were a little slow on getting Sunfire out there. Nice. I really like a lot of the things that we're doing, though. I like that we stayed close to melee. We waited for some, casts to go off, and then we used our roar. Really, really good. And yeah, so we have Adaptive Swarm. So we just have the Adaptive Swarm helper. We're not tracking it on our UI, but we are using it. We have the little action tracker in the bottom left, too. So yeah, which is correct. Adaptive Swarm is one of our best spells. Now, a little unfortunate here is the fact that it's Grievous week. I notice we're playing a little bit of whack-a-mole with the party frames. Every time someone takes damage, we just have to start slamming hots on them, but it's sort of a, that's what we have to do this week. Make sure you don't get into that habit during Grievous weeks, because a lot of times you can just have an F-flow down or wild growths and stuff, and it'll top people. You don't necessarily have to just F-flow or rejuve and regrowth every single time. Ooh, okay, okay. All right, so we're skipping a lot of this stuff. We're jumping down here. Our shaman's dead. Hold on. Wait, what happens here? I'm not sure what you tried to do. I'm not sure what happened there, but either way, remember that you take reduced fall damage in cat form. So whenever you do those jumps like that, you want to be in cat form. Either that or you can wild charge to an ally also. All right, let's see what we're doing here. Oh, little annoying. Wait, what's going on? Little annoying for our blood decay. Ooh, oh. Do we have meld? What happens here? Oh, our tank is DC'd. Oh, okay, he DC'd. That makes way more sense. Are we looking to meld here? Because if we're Night Elf, we need to get in a position to meld right now. Unless we want to try and fight this pack somehow. This is going to be insane. We're troll? Okay. I don't see the troll racial, but I believe you guys. Are they actually going to fight and kill this? No way. Okay, well, this is some Giga Chat activity. We actually just decided to man up and fight these three guys. How to heal a pull without a tank in it, I don't think is going to be a super important thing. We'll just skip over that. Yeah, so now we're losing so much time, right? We basically had a DC and to do a solo pack and to do another solo pack. And then what do we even do after that? I'm guessing we just meant to double that and then come back around. Like that was just supposed to be one pull, but we had that tank situation, so unfortunate. I actually kind of like our route though. For a civilian, no, this isn't a civilian group. These are gamers. For a group doing a +20 though, this is a pretty good route. We're playing reasonably aggressive. Okay, so we got the 5. This stuff's easy to heal. I want to see some DPS in here. Wouldn't be a bad spot for a disclosure potion if we got one. Are we doing a flourish here? What's going on? I feel like we're doing so much healing to our party. Yeah, I'm not sure here. So we walk in and then it feels like you wanted to do a flourish ramp here, but then you never did. Because you put rejuve on everybody, then you started putting regrowths out, then you started putting life blooms, now swarm, and now nothing. So I'm not really sure what the deal was there. I wouldn't mind if you would have pressed flourish and nature's vigil there, just to get a little bit of extra damage and also to help keep the tank safe. But we didn't press that, and so all these weird, this pack doesn't do party damage, so there's not really a lot of reason to push rejuve on everybody. This is a pack that is very, very dangerous for the tank. And as you play with tanks that are really, really good or geared, you'll have less worry. But, you know, might be a good idea to just pile hots on your tank at this point. It's not even a bad idea to use Soul of the Forest and then just rejuve. It's honestly not even that bad of a play. Like, see, you have a proc right now. You actually just munched a Soul of the Forest proc right there and not used anything where you could have just put a rejuve on the tank. See, oh, our tank purred too. Yeah, I mean, tanks just take so much damage in this room. Like, all these mobs are so scary. Props to this tank, though. Again, he's playing aggressively. He hasn't really stopped once and done, like, a stupid 3 mob pull. The only time he's really done it is when there's, like, that DC or whatever, and there wasn't really much otherwise he could have done. Okay, we'll skip ahead. All this stuff's pretty easy. Just keep piling hots on your tank. Show him some love. Wait. What happened? Hold on. Ooh, that might have just been a swirly, actually. That might have just been a swirly. So our tank died. I don't see we have Vortex. So my first thought right away, by the way, anytime my tank dies, the first button that I press is Battle Res. The second button that I press is Vortex, because Vortex slows the mobs and gives all your DPS like time to kite and get away. And at the same time, it also kind of keeps the pull together. You're checking the death log. You literally, come on, man. You literally have a Spiteful 1 inch from your face and you're just checking the death log. Look at this. Oh my gosh, man. It's a 20. Get your head in the game. You don't gotta be looking at the guy's death log mid-pull. Like, stop looking at it. Let's see how we play this boss. Alright, we lost. Doing damage. Offensive adaptive swarm. We got our feather out. Alright, overwhelming energy. It's coming up. Now, 24, this shouldn't be too scary, but we can talk about how to heal this boss, right? You can actually flourish the first and the second intermission. So what I like to do is I like to flourish the beginning of the first intermission so that I have it up for the second half of the second intermission. Oh no! Yeah, so this one, watch your feet. Watch your feet. See, here's one thing okay, let's talk about a couple of things that I don't like, right? So here he is, the ads come out, he's healing, he's getting his rejuves out. Okay, I like this. And now see how his team is going this way? See how his team is going this way, but he's kind of autopiloting and he's moving this way. So eventually he's going to get cut off and spread out by his team. See, now he's going further this way. Now he has to make a big move. And I actually, well, oh, never mind. I was going to say, I like the convoke and then run across, but then he kind of came back. So remember the wild growth hack that I told you on the first boss? It's also very, very good on this boss too. So let's say, like right here, for example, it's like, who the hell does he wild growth? You can actually wild growth either the boss or this ad, and you can hit all of your teammates. It might not hit you unless you do one of these two, but even then, like, just wild growthing one of these enemies, or just like making sure you get, you know, the shaman or whatever. A lot of times I'll wild growth the ads on this fight as well. Can you just do it every pull? You could, but a lot of times it won't matter because your team is close together. It's important to know when it's actually, like, beneficial to use it, I think. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, you could always use it on enemies. Alright. We're blasting. We're blasting. We get one more intermission. Okay, let's watch it. So I'm looking at what we have. We have Convoke, we have Trank, and then we have Flourish and 15. So we're looking good here. Our Send Ward uptime, not as good as we'd like it. I think that's definitely the biggest, like, efficiency mistake that I've seen. Our Send Ward definitely sits off cooldown way too much. Ooh, looks like our team has damage here because we're blasting these. Alright, pretty easy, pretty easy. All this stuff isn't really too hard. The big thing that you need to do is you need to keep an eye out on the breaker. So basically, all these frogs do nothing. They just run around. The looters have a bleed that stacks, but they die pretty quick. So you have to watch out for that. You want to give your tank a lot of healing at the start. Or like if you have something like Bark or Cauterize or whatever. one really good, this is a great spot to use Vortex, especially like if this, so like your tank is like gathering them up, right? Your team probably hasn't used too many offensives or whatever. So as you're like, once they all get gathered for the first time, this is a great spot to use Vortex, because now they won't hop around. Yeah, throw it down there. Nope. Okay, well, either way, good spot to use Vortex here when everything is grouped together and you have all the frogs. We throw it on a Trank. I think it's fine. That shoulder slam thing is actually pretty like telegraphed, so you can always bear form those or bark skin. You know, you're not going to press bark skin on anything else in this room anyway, so you may as well bark skin or bear form when you're getting shoulder slammed. Oh my gosh, this Spiteful. This is terrorizing our life. I think we should be okay though. How much to say here? We eventually used our Vortex. We used it more for the Spiteful than the frogs. So this area right here, these stairs, make sure you get all the way down these stairs. Fighting on stairs is beans. Super beans. Great spot for Vortex right here. Keep them all in. And even if you don't Vortex, make sure that you're standing like, you know, close, because you don't want the frogs to jump out at you. Ooh, nice clear. Cutting it a little close, but... What do you think about Mass Root? I think it's okay, but I don't think it's much better. Oh no, we checked the death log. So what happens here? Our team starts... Oh geez, that was unlucky. We take a roar, and then just as the Spiteful spawns... I think start getting in the habit, if your goal is to push Giga High keys, start getting in the habit of like not even getting hit by Spiteful once. Like in this spot, I don't really blame you, because you know the Spiteful's not going to kill you in one hit. So you can kind of be a little bit greedy, and you got unlucky with the roar. But eventually you're going to get to that level of key where Spiteful is going to one-shot you. Then you want to avoid every single auto. This is all easy. Same thing, get a Vortex down. Healing, chasing Spiteful. All this stuff is pretty easy. We're slowly accumulating deaths, unfortunately. Oh no, what happens here? How does our hunter die? Are we actually lining? Oh, nice. I like the line there. Our hunter feigns it. Okay, our hunter gets a charge. Another charge. Oh, the shade. Oh, no. The shade gets him in the corner. I don't know if there was much that you could have done there. Maybe some miracle throw bark on him. It doesn't seem like your tank needs bark that often anyways, so... Alright, well... We're healing up. Our timer is not looking great. What is our battle res status? 1 battle res? I think at this point you have to send the battle res just to get the hunter up faster, just because timer is so tight. Unless you've already decided that you can't time it. Having 6 minutes for 2 bosses only, these 2 bosses at least, is kind of beans. So let's talk about this boss. So first of all, going into the boss with the hunter being at half health is so bad, because this boss does so much damage initially. Like, watch. It'll do the frost bombs, then it'll go right into absolute zero. You need to have like everybody topped basically. So the way this works, this puddle does an absurd amount of damage and ticks you right away. And so when you get this frost bomb, you want to aim towards a safe spot. And then as soon as it's about to expire, you hold W and you sort of like walk out and jump out of it. I don't know if jumping actually does something, but I do it and it looks good. And you need to essentially do that, or else if you get ticked by the water or whatever, the ice from the frost bomb, it's gonna one-shot you in a hierarchy. You don't need to do it early. Like, as long as you're holding W by the time it explodes, you're chilling. And the room isn't that tight. You don't need to be that tight on space. So don't be afraid to, like, you know, move, like, inch around a little bit if you need to. Nice. Run was clean. There's no time left, and it was just insane. Sort of. We'll look at the info at the end as well. Things are going well. We're using cooldowns. I mean, this is definitely like more advanced level stuff. You know, making sure you're using a flourish if you ever fall behind, using your convoke, using your trank, all that stuff is good. You have to make sure you're doing it. You're not going to be able to heal this boss with only spamming wild growth and regrowth, because you're going to run out of mana. Oof. Yeah, I feel like you're tending to use... No, I think it's fine. I was going to say you're not swift bending your wild growths enough, but... I don't know. It may just come down to the situation. Cause I know you've done it before, so could just be what me noticing. Oh no! So then we get sent down here with 3 minutes left. No, which is so unfortunate. It feels like maybe you should be able to do it with Lust, but this boss is enormous. I don't know. All right. We're blasting. So a little small trick about this guy too is, so see this cast right here, this Arcane Eruption? The cast comes in at about 30 seconds into the fight, a little bit less. One thing you can do that makes the fight a lot easier is if you can somehow push the boss to drop its crystals before the Arcane Eruption goes off, it'll reset the timer and give yourself more time. So Arcane Eruption is the thing that creates the orbs. And you'll see here, and it's not easy. You need to get the boss to 75%. You basically need Lust, right? Yeah, so Arcane Eruption, it shoots out these orbs that are eventually going to Omega follow you for the rest of the fight. And now he gets the crystals. But if you would have gotten the crystals before the orbs, it would reset the timer of the orbs. It resets his like energy or whatever, which can be very, very, very helpful. Because you basically have like, what, 3 less orbs for the rest of the fight? The only thing you really need to concentrate on this dungeon or this boss, making sure you're dispelling the tank. I don't even know. I think the tank can AMS the Dragon Strike 1 out of every 3 or 4, but any other time you'll need to dispel. And also, obviously, doing damage to the boss and making the boss go by fast. There's not that much to say about this dungeon though. This actually went pretty quick. I know we already are at 8 deaths, so there's not going to be that much more tomfoolery. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Lots of stuff that could have went better there. At what level would you say it's mandatory? I would try and do it. You're simply just making your tank's life harder by not dispelling him. Because, I mean, at lower levels, it's going to do less damage, but your tank's also going to have gear. Well, it was a valiant effort. It was a good try. Well, that was a cool vid. We had a little bit to talk about, but honestly, what I'll say, though, is I felt like they played better than I expected. I expected, with 8 deaths, I expected him to play Babby. Let's look at damage. Let's look at my Druid. Just to compare, right? Just to compare. Following Amaranth? No, you guys must have saw something different. So what was our Azure Vaults? Our Azure Vaults was... Yeah, like, look at the DPS diff. 112k, 110k, 95k, 50k, 24k. And so, granted, like, obviously you're going to do less damage in lower keys because you have less gear, you have less coordination, pulling slower, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, it's still to note that, like, while it is true that, like, oh, if the tank didn't DC or if this didn't happen or that didn't happen, there's always more room to blast. I think 13, 14k is, like, fine. It's, like, fine as a, you know, a random, like, guy healing 20 keys. Because, like, it's not like it's not like our hero was not trying to DPS. He just, number one, didn't have cat spells for some reason. Or just he was playing Star Surge.